Hey everybody. You know, I'm here to kind of update you on the Sonic Mega Man crossover and basically what it's got to do with 250 and the current story arc in the Sonic the Hedgehog comic book. A lot of people speculated that either the story arc, the current story arc, was going to end in 250 or it was going to continue on beyond that. Well, pretty much we've been confirmed that it would end around 250. However, there might be some news to that, if you will. Now, according to sources, I guess close to Ian Flynn, people that are members of his board and stuff, Ian Flynn has said that the crossover between Mega Man and Sonic will take place in the 250th, will, I guess, begin in some ways in the 250th issue of the main Sonic comic book. Now, this kind of raises two questions. One, how are they going to end? How is the current story arc going to end, or continue? And two, why 250? Well, seeing as though Sega, Capcom, and Archie Comics are touting this as as becoming one of the biggest crossovers ever. I guess in their mindset, in their business mindset, it would make some sense. Now, the thing is, the question people have is, how are they going to conclude the current story arc if that's the case? Well, 250 isn't the only one that's kind of like got people questioning. 242, which has also been advertised, has got people questioning. Apparently, most of the issue, or at least the first story of the issue, whether it's short or long or whatever, is going to be a special homage, if you will, a tribute, a tie-in to the Olympics. Yeah, go figure. 242, a tie-in to the Olympics. Think of it this way, folks. The Olympics will be way done before this issue comes out. So why they're even doing it now, I don't know. Because think of it this way. The Olympics start at the end of this month. 240 comes out, I think 239 comes out next month. 240 comes out in September. 241 in October. 242 in November. That doesn't make sense, right? But they did say there's going to be a little bit of a backstory that will kind of continue on with the current story arc. But now the question is, what exactly is going to happen with this current story arc? Well, according to Ian Flynn, it's going to continue on in another issue. That the 250 story, where it's supposed to wrap up, is going to continue on. It will be done in another issue. Now, that does raise the question of what issue will it be? Will it be an issue before? Or will it be an issue after? Or will it be in Sonic Universe? I don't know. Here's what I do know. Right now, this has got to be one of the... to me, honestly, this has got to be a real messing of the heads, if you will, with a lot of fans. Because a lot of fans were expecting this story arc to end in 250. Now, let me explain why I think it can go either one way. If it ends before, then it makes sense to want to use 250 as a tie-in to the crossover with MegaMan. That's how I was thinking it for a second. To use the crossover with MegaMan. And that's cool. And the same goes to Sonic Universe. Right? Or does it? You see, the situation here is November is going to be a one-shot deal. It's going to be a tie-in for All Stars Racing Transformed in Sonic Universe. One shot story. And then come December, they're going to start doing the chaotic story, where it's December, January, February, March. Now, that would be 46, 47, 48, 49. Now, April would be 50. So, here's what I'm looking at. April and May, of course, are 2 months before June and 2 months before 250. And the 50th issue of Universe is 2 months before. So my guess, one of the scenarios he could go with is before and concluded, believe it or not in the main comic, but in Universe. I mean, if you want to tout and give Universe, your spin-off comic, more exposure, you want to give it more oomph, more emphasis, and more of a reason for people to want to read it, then you want to conclude your major story arc there in its first major anniversary issue. You know what I'm saying? Okay. What I'm saying is that we all know every 50 issues, something big's got to begin or conclude. Well, seeing as though Sonic 250 is 2 months before this, 2 months after this, it only makes sense that Universe might be the concluding point for this entire story arc. Now, with that said, let me explain this. You might ask yourself, well, what does this have to do with MegaMan? What does this have to do with it? Well, what it has to do with MegaMan is the fact that depending on how they do this, whether it's a 2-part deal or a 4-part deal in Universe to conclude the entire story arc, which would make it a little over a year, or 2 years, or whatever you want to call it, year and a half, then they can then that would help them lead right into their continuation of the MegaMan deal. Okay, think of it. Okay, let me explain. 50, 51, 52, 53. Okay, that's could be the entire conclusion of the whole story arc currently going on in the main comic. Now, 54 could be the continuation of what's going on in the MegaMan comic. You get my point? And yeah, it might continue on the trend, if you will, of it being a little ahead or behind, but still, it would continue on. It would continue the MegaMan story. It would give it that room. Now, with that said, there's another scenario you could look at, and it may not be a very popular scenario. The scenario that another scenario I think Ian Flynn could take, with all due respect, is he could hold off. You heard me right? Hold off on the story arc, at least into the first 4 issues of the crossover with MegaMan from 250 to 253 are concluded, and then start in 254 with the continuation, if not the conclusion, of the current story arc. Believe it or not, they have done that before in the Sonic comic book, in some other stories I can't think of right now. And other comic books have done it as well with other companies. Marvel, I'm pretty sure, has done it. DC has done it. Image, Top Cow, you name it. They've all done something similar. And is it a popular trend? And with the fans? Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm pretty sure if you go down to San Diego and you ask people fans at the Comic-Con right now, hey, do you think holding off on a story for 4 months and then concluding it after such and such is a good idea? You might get a split, opinion. You might get a split response from people, but the truth is, I'm pretty sure a majority would be against it. Because they'd be like, well, you've been building up, and now you're having us wait? But again, that to me is one direction I believe Ian Flynn can end up going. He can end up going in that direction, just due to the fact that he says he wants to make this double the length of the Iron Dominion. And when you think about it, double the length could be all the way up till December 2013. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm praying it's not. I'm praying it's not because, and I'm sure I'm not the only one praying it's not. But again, because what I'm saying is you want to send fans into the summer and into this hyped up crossover happy. You don't want to send them into it like, oh great, now we got to deal with this for 4 months before we get a conclusion. But again, it's not the first time anyone has ever done this. Let's take a look at the Twilight series. Let's take a look at Twilight. Twilight Breaking Dawn, the Twilight Saga series, as far as I know, before the Breaking Dawn deal, always continued on from a fall, and the next movie always came out in the summer, as far as I know. To kind of, you know, as far as I know. But now, because Breaking Dawn is the conclusion and it's such a big deal, they've been waiting a year. And you think there's a lot of Twilight fans out there right now that are happy about that? Well, they might be happy to meet the cast members at Comic-Con and all that. I grant you that. But do you think they're happy they have to wait a year before the conclusion? Not really. See, they want to find out what happens now. And if they've read the novel, that it's based on, then they know what's going to happen. But still, fans that want to see the film, I guarantee you are being impatient. They're going to Comic-Con right now and they're thinking, oh man, how much longer before this movie? They want that movie now. They want that conclusion now. I mean, when you had all those 3 teaser posters come up about a month ago, so with the characters, there's no doubt fans went crazy and they started wetting themselves in anticipation, being like, "Oh, hope it please come soon, please make it come soon." The point I'm trying to make is, by the people working on the Twilight Saga doing this, they're making people impatient and more eager. Making them more eager. That's a good thing, but they're making them impatient because they want it that bad. The same goes for fans of the comic. If Ian Flynn decides to hold off to the conclusion until issues 250 to 253, which would be the first issues in the Mega Man crossover, are done with, to continue and conclude this story arc, then he's going to make fans more impatient. But he would have followed through on his plans to make it double the length. But again, it would upset fans. It would possibly upset fans and make them impatient. And it might, I'm just saying this because I know there might be some, make them more eager to see what happens next. So, and that would be a good thing for Ian, but still, you got to realize you've got fans that want to know what's going to happen. You got fans that you've promised the conclusion to of the story arc around the anniversary, if not in the anniversary issue, and all of a sudden you're going to take that away and say, oh wait, I'm going to wait until after the first few issues of the Mega Man crossover to continue on. You can't do that. And if you say it's going to continue on and conclude on in another issue, either let us know if it's either let the cat out of the bag if it's either going to be 249 or 248, maybe 249, or if it's going to conclude in a story arc with Sonic Universe, which I think would make more sense. To me, that's what Ian Flynn needs to do, with all due respect. But I thought I'd just let everybody know what exactly is going on with the Mega Man crossover and what it has to do with Sonic 250. So, you got any comments, video responses, let me know down below. Comment if you like. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good day.